How is your organization perceived by the LLMs? But in addition just to the brand, it's also the content of your site and your offerings itself, right? So if you are a health-based nonprofit, if you are an advocacy-based nonprofit, not only is it the brand of that site, but it's also the content. How is that content being represented? How does both ChatGPT and Search GPT related softwares, how do those change how users and your constituents interact with the content of your organization, right? So a lot of organizations that have, let's say, free health resources now have to think, okay, people are not coming in just via Google, but they're also looking at this stuff via LLMs. They're also looking at this stuff via LLMs on top of the internet, right? And that changes the dynamic. And I think that's really important. And there's so many questions there, right? How does this how does this change your interaction with your own supporters? How does this change interaction with organic search, people who come in via organic search, which can be the bread and butter for some of these organizations? Their online assets, their online content is, what makes the website so valuable. And that's, I think, in a way, been upended a little bit here. This is, I would say, probably the most significant change to internet search in at least a decade or two in how people use the internet to find not only your organization, but the content produced by your organization. So I think that's something that we're thinking a lot about, right? What are the impacts of search overview in Google on organic traffic per se? But also it is going to need to be, how are people interacting with content via these LLMs directly, whether that's been ingested in a pre-trained model, so you're now in the training data, or it's being called from some kind of internet browser and then being reinterpreted by an LLM ex post facto, right? So there's all these different kind of models for how people are going to be interacting. That's, I think, going to be really important for organizations, particularly organizations with large content footprints, to be thinking about over the next couple of years.
Your digital footprint is going to look different tomorrow than it does today. We're actively working on how to measure and sort of set new benchmarks based on that. And there's a lot of questions that it raises. Also, it's just fun. Like, actually, I see this as a really exciting time. I think the rules have been too static for too long. And I think those that are willing to adopt have really fun upside potential. One of the things I think I got kind of wrong in my original thinking is around that Google AI overview, and thinking that going forward, things are going to be like how they've always been, where Google is the single point of our information gathering. Oh no, AI overview just inside the Google ecosystem. I'm like, actually, no, there is this much more robust distribution of information gathering power now that I am beginning to see. And maybe I'll make this more tangible. We've literally built out a custom tool on CauseWriter, CauseWriter.ai/resources, for those of you listening, that is a brand analysis GPT. And this was actually going to, I have one using OpenAI and one using Llama 3.1 as of this recording. I may update it, but it's going to give you a snapshot of what that AI thinks of your brand and brand score. And it's going to look different based on those two LLMs. And I think it's fascinating to do that side by side. What's more, back to my all roads lead to Google, actually no more, is that we've recently, I haven't even announced it to the users because I'm still working on it, but actually the feature is live, where you can actually do /search as a command inside of our CauseWriter chats to access an AI-powered search result that gets added to the information. So it's pulling in that dynamic, not just static, dynamic information from the web, pre-processed by an AI that is understanding that information and delivering it to you. Put another way, this thing can